ha, you lose!
What's up guys, Leon Trotsky here, and I'm bringing you another Battlefield Bad Company 2 video. Today, something simple, playing some team squad deathmatch, whatever it's called, on Vantage Point, Vietnam map, raping people with the AK, pistoling them down, using the grenade launchers, lightweight, probably magnum ammo. But this game isn't all about the gameplay. I mean, I do okay. I think my final score is probably 18-5, and my entire team was in double digits, and we dominated most of the game. But today I just kind of want to bring you one of those videos letting you know more about me and my stuff, what I do, what I like, and stuff that I'm into. And this is just going to be kind of a rant, and I'm going to be doing a couple of these, touching on different topics that I think are important. So you guys, you know what, kick back, get comfortable, and grab something to drink. If you're curious, I mean, I did that before. Last time I didn't let you know, but I am currently have a beverage right now, and it's one of my favorites in the world. It's a Coca-Cola, but it's not just any Coca-Cola. I don't know where you guys live or where you're from, but I have a Coca-Cola that was made in Mexico. And if you guys live in the United States, you may not know this, you may know this, but because of U.S. sugar policy, we do not usually, or at least most sodas produced in the United States are made with corn syrup. And it sounds stupid, but if you get a soda, usually in a glass bottle from Mexico, at least because I live in Los Angeles, it's rather easily to get, it is made with real sugar, and wow, it tastes amazing. But enough with the side note, guys. What I really want to talk today, guys, something I like to do a lot. I like to read, guys. I went to school for history, that's my major. Although I'm not doing too much with it now, I still enjoy learning and reading, and I enjoy reading a lot of nonfiction. A couple books that I really have enjoyed, and I think you guys might enjoy if you like reading nonfiction, or you like just learning in general, or if you like reading. The first book is a World War I book. It's about World War I. It won the Pulitzer Prize. It's called Guns of August by Barbara Tuchman. And it is a very great book. It talks about basically the political strategies and build-ups to World War I and the first month or so of World War I. And it goes into a lot of details, and sometimes there's certain sections that can be a little difficult to read. But the first third of it is very interesting, and it talks about all the political games and political planning that have been done for years and years in advance, and the mindsets of the different nations in which, you know, Germany, France, England, and Russia, in which kind of was an inevitable force that was going to lead to war. And then the rest of the book is talking about battle strategies and tactics, and you know, the difficulties in communications, the difficulties with different generals and different, you know, people in charge from different countries and their different plans. And it's very interesting. I love it. I love military history. I love military tactics. If you're a similar fan of stuff like that, you might want to check it out. It did win a Pulitzer Prize, and when I first picked it up, it seemed a little difficult, but I really got into it, and man, I was really glad that I read that book, because it's very interesting, being a history major, to relate events like that, major world events in the past, to get new insight into them, and kind of realize situations that are similar to that in the day and time that we are living. And you know, history is cyclical, things repeat themselves, and people really don't learn too much. But it's funny, and I like learning stuff like that. Another subject that I did not go to school for, but I sometimes wish I would have, is physics. And one book that I read in physics that I think was absolutely amazing is this book called, I was randomly, the third book that I'm going to talk about has to do with my trip to Italy, where I found the second book. The second book is by Greene, is the author. Greene. He is a physics teacher somewhere, some school in the East Coast probably, and the name of the book is The Fabric of the Cosmos, Space, Time, and the Textures of Reality. And the book really kind of stuck out to me, because the name of it, The Fabric of the Cosmos, it felt like it was just going to explain a lot of science and a lot of the way the world worked. And being a philosophy minor in school, which I probably could have been a philosophy major, it's just something that I've always been interested in. And so this book does a very great job of explaining very complex topics and things that are very difficult to understand in simple metaphorical terms that everyday people can understand rather simply. And you know, when there are complex experiments that he tries to explain, he does a good job of breaking it down and saying, you know, you might be able to skip this part, you know, read through this is going to be complex. It forewarns you when it's going to be a little too much. But this book covers everything you could possibly imagine. It basically describes the difference between Newtonian physics, modern physics, you know, and this new quantum physics that people have been learning. And the differences are that basic physics that we understand are we have 3 dimensions of space, you know, height, width, length, and time is, I guess, a 4th dimension. And this is the way the world works, and this is the way all large particles, people, everything perceive the world in that, you know, object, gravity, all that good stuff, mass, times inertia, speed, all that cool stuff. But then there's this new physics that deals with subatomic particles. And through research, you know, over the past few years, well, quite, you know, maybe decades, they started to realize that some of these subatomic particles, these quantum particles that make up these atoms and you know, electrons and stuff like that, these particles don't always follow the same rules that large particles do. So there's a contrast between Newtonian physics and this new quantum physics, in that the large particles and small particles don't do the same stuff. Like, the rules for large particles don't work for small particles, and the rules for small particles don't work for large particles. And the new wave in physics is trying to understand the differences and come up with a theory that's going to explain all this. This guy, the author, Greene, is a leading physicist who's trying to work on theories doing that. His theory is string. One of the theories that he supports is string theory, which, you know, involves like 10 dimensions, 11 dimensions equal with time, and all this crazy stuff that's beyond my ability to explain to you, so you should definitely go pick up that book. The last book that I just picked up recently, I just started reading it, but it seems really good so far. As I said, I last summer took a trip to Italy, and it was great. You know, I have some Italian in my blood, I guess, and it was a very fun time. I love Italian food. I learned some Italian language. I got to, you know, spend time with my grandma, who, you know, rented a cabin for 2 weeks, and like it was like she was there for 2 months, I was there for 2 weeks, and we traveled all over Rome, Venice, a bunch of small little towns, and we went to Naples. And this book that I'm reading now is called Gommorrah, and it's about the Gommorrah crime. It's called Gommorrah, about the Gommorrah crime family, which is basically centered around Naples. And, you know, they're into drugs and human trafficking, all the you know, normal stuff. But another thing that they're really largely involved in, and have been involved in for a large time, is the textile industries. And, you know, when I first picked up this book, I was like, oh, you know, it's cool, whatever. But you really, you know, from the introduction, I'll read you this little part where they talk about how much is going through, everything's going through the port of Naples, basically. All the textiles are coming in from China and going through the port of Naples and ending up into Europe. But the problem is that the port of Naples has been corrupted by this Gommorrah crime family, and that's where they've gained their sphere of influence in the area, and are able to make millions and millions of dollars, not just in, you know, illegal businesses, but also basically, you know, illegal sweatshops and underground factories that produce basically legitimate garments for name brand Italian designers. And so the author points out here, and these days the merchandise unloaded in Naples is almost exclusively Chinese, 1.6 million tons annually. Registered merchandise, that is. At least another 1 million tons pass through without leaving a trace. According to the Italian Customs Agency, 16% of the goods arriving in Naples escape official customs inspection. 20% of the bills of entry go unchecked, and 50,000 shipments are contraband. 99% of them from China, all for an estimated 200 million euros in evaded taxes each semester. That's just a small understanding of how much money these people are making. And this guy, basically, this is a national bestseller in Italy. The author's name is Robert Saviano. As soon as he came out with this book, he was forced into police protection and whatnot. But you guys, that's just a couple books I think you should check out. Check out this last kill, like turn on this guy at the very end here, because I'm a fucking beast. That's how we do. Anyways, guys, keep it real, play some Battlefield, check out my final score. Leon Trotsky, out.
This month's rent, you know, and have a little left over for food if you'll just tell me a second story.
What am I, a second story man? If it's adventures you want, make them up yourself.